this is not a player-friendly move at all. Actually, this is kind of discouraging because the way that I thought it was going to work has severely changed, and it looks like this is going to restrict future access to Gear 19 pieces and the very important training modules. Training materials are very important right now, and they're in high scarcity. And the way that the currency process was presented initially provided for an opportunity to relieve that, and that is being revoked according to this post. Or maybe I just assumed the way it was going to work. But anyways, we're going to go over it. And in general, I do want to state that even though this post is not player friendly and these changes are going to be controversial, I still think that the currency conversion system is a net positive. We'll talk about that. Also, we've got a data mine for Crucible Season 15, which we're going to go over at the end of the video. The most important part is Room 6 is going to be called Dorky's Broken Headset. I wonder why. What if he knows about that? Also, for the players that finish the Professor X saga, they're going to be awarded some additional Armory 20 orbs. So let's get into the post. And there's some confusion with the Intel store and the currency conversion. Most notably, none of the currency that people have stockpiled will be useful in the Intel store. I just got to get that out of the way right away because I think a lot of people think that none of this currency that people have stockpiled is going to be used for useful things that are found in the Intel store. It's just not going to convert to Intel currency. Commanders, in a recent blog, we shared a snapshot of important upcoming dates for our currency conversion process. We want to share additional detailed dates and details you should be aware of to help you manage your resources as the Intel store rolls out, leading up to the currency conversion day, which is going to be the 22nd. We stated that from May 1st to May 21st, the sources of several store currencies will change to Intel. So this is like when you get a war reward, you win an alliance war, you would get war currency. Well, that's going to change and you're going to get Intel currency, which is actually why I think some of this stuff is a net positive. We have finalized the details of these dates, which you can see below. On May 11th, Raid Season Rewards. May 13th, the Crucible Ultimate 16 Season Rewards. The Crucible League and Knockout Rewards will be changing on the 13th. On the 18th will be the War Season Rewards. The 19th, War League and Knockout Rewards. The 21st will be Cosmic Crucible Season 15 rewards and the Arena rewards. Now, it's worth noting that they've already made some changes in the game right now, like in raids. If you go look at the raid payouts, they now have Intel currency. If you look at the Blitz milestones, they currently have Intel currency. And the Intel currency has useful things. The Intel store is in the game. And for me, the most important thing about this is going to be some minor access to Gear Tier 20 pieces. Now, it's somewhat uncertain right now on the amounts of these things, and it's hard for me to make an assessment of whether this is good or bad. But frankly, for someone like myself who's been playing the game for a minute, not a lot of the rewards that they're talking about in Crucible or War, those currencies weren't of any value to me. And if I get something that can be converted into Gear Tier 20s, that's a W. We're going to get into the bad part here in a minute. So currency conversion. When the currency conversion happens on May 22nd, there'll be a few additional changes that will be made. And we're going to go over them because these are not good changes. So before we do this, let's just talk about it, because I'm finding a difficult way to explain it. But what's happening is that we've got Blitz currency. And let's say this is France, and they have francs. And then here we have raid currency. And let's say that's Italy, and they have lira. And then we have right here another European currency. And here we have another European currency. And here have European currencies. These currencies that are in these stores are going to be converted into euros, just like Europe did when they consolidated all those currencies back in the day. And all of the things that you could buy here with the Blitz currency will now not be called Blitz currency. It'll be called shop currency, or it'll be euros, and all the items in these stores will be purchasable in euros. So instead of having multiple currencies, like here's a currency, here's 2 more currencies. Here's another currency. Here's 3 currencies. Here's 2 currencies. There's going to be 1 currency, and the items in these stores would be purchased for euros, right? This has nothing to do with the Intel store, which is, I don't know, the Nuon, right? Some Chinese currency, right? Let's just say that this is the Chinese currency, the Nuon. I don't know. I'm not trying to make this political at all, but it's not anything to do with these other stores. There's not going to be any conversion between this currency to this useful currency. What is going to happen is that all of the sources for these old currencies will eventually dry up, just like on the dates that are provided here, and they will pay out the new currency. And that is good because, you know, players that are at level 100 above or have been playing the game for more than a year or so probably have accumulated some of this. Now, I don't know what this means to players under 100. Largely, this video is for people that have been playing the game and that are currently at Endgame. I don't know how this fits for players that are level 95 or below. But for players that have been playing for a long time, this currency has accumulated over the years, and there's nothing of high interest in this. And so, to me, there was some things that were interesting. Like, all right, so if we're gonna have this consolidated currency, this euro, this shop currency, and all these currency and the items in that are for sale, all gonna be converted to euros, cool. Then I should be able to take this elite raid credit, which is a part of that process, and buy something that some people might need, Crimson Gear raid orbs. You know, I was thinking that, you know, I've got all of this raid credits, you know, that'll convert to euros. This right here will convert to euros. I'm going to have a bunch of euros because I have a bunch of all these other currencies, and then I should be able to take those euros or those shop currency and buy Crimson Gear raid orbs. Now, this would help me get certain characters to gear tier 19 or some characters to gear tier 19 and a half. Like Void Knight is a character that I'm missing a couple alien spores, right? And I would be able to get that extra health boost by doing the gear tier 19 and a half piece. He gets 200,000 extra health. I actually need some of this stuff, and you can see that I've spent all of it already, right? No, that is not happening. Crimson Gear raid orbs will no longer be purchasable using elite raid credits. You can still use elite raid credits to purchase these orbs before the conversion happens. And so this is what I'm going to say is that, you know, I was thinking that this conversion to the new system might present an opportunity for me to finish off a lot of my gear tier 19 characters. No. If you are sitting on a large number of these elite raid credits and want to buy Crimson Gear raid orbs because you want to take characters gear tier 19, that will not be an option for you once this system is implemented on the 22nd. A lot of people in my chat have went and purchased with their elite raid credits the Crimson Gear raid orbs, and you can see that I am currently out of them also. Not a good player-friendly change, but it gets worse. It gets worse. One of the other things that we had talked about lately is that this arena credits is still somewhat of a useful currency. I can buy L4 training modules, L3 training modules on every server reset, every store reset rather, which is every 8 hours. So every 8 hours, I'm able to buy these. And if I wanted to, I could spend this 494,000 currency, and I know not everybody has this built up, but I could open these arena orbs at a not super favorable rate. I'm going to open up 10 right here for the sake of the video. And the reason why I want to open these is that there were training modules in there, L3 training modules. So I was thinking is like, well, if this Euro thing is going to go through and I have millions of this and millions of this, and I could essentially go and buy, when I have millions of euros, millions of shop currency, I could buy a ton of arena orbs and satisfy my L3 training module problem. Nope, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Arena orbs will be removed from the game entirely. You can still purchase these orbs with arena credits before the conversion happens. Hint, hint. Initially, we had planned to move them to the Intel store, but we decided that would not be the best to encourage players to use the intel on these orbs. And I got to say this, using intel to buy training modules is not, do not do it. That's a valuable currency. And for me, I'm going to speak for myself, until I have Professor X, I'm going to be only spending my intel currency on gear tier 20 pieces. After that, maybe I would consider new character shards, fine, or more gear tier 20 pieces, but I'm not going to be buying training materials. I'm not going to be buying, that's not a good use of intel credits, right? The character shards available in this orb can be obtained in the arena store using shop credits, which is that Euro new currency. So this is where the debate is. And a lot of people are going to continue holding on to their arena credits. And the main reason for that is I suspect that they might change their mind on it. I don't know, because this seems pretty terrible. But also every 8 hours, I want to buy these L4 training modules and the L3 training modules. And when we talk about L4s, these essentially are a $100 bill and the L3s are $50 bills. So they have a 2-to-1 ratio, and that's going to be important in a later conversation here in a minute. So the question is, if the ability to buy these arena orbs is going to go away, and this currency right here is going to convert to the shop currency or the euros, and there's not going to be a lot of useful stuff to buy with the euros. It's going to be all the same stuff that you can buy right now with Blitz credits. I mean, most players that are level 100 or higher, or maybe 105, are not really needing to buy this. Now, that's not true for players that have been playing the game less than a year. You know, they may still be buying gore, but in-game players, this currency is of no use to me. Neither is this currency, neither is this war currency, and neither is this currency Crucible. But this arena currency, I could flush it and get L3 training materials, and that ability to do that will be removed on the 22nd. And this will convert into essentially a currency that I'm not going to be able to use for anything useful at the level that I'm in the game. Most people that are in this position are saving this currency until at least the 20th. And then this is my plan. I'm going to continue every 8 hours buying the L4 training modules and L3 training modules. And then on the 20th, I will be flushing all of this into arena orbs to collect the L3 modules. One could do it today, but I don't know. I don't see an upside to doing it today. I'm going to wait until a couple days before the conversion, which is on the 22nd. So I'm thinking the 20th. It gets worse. It gets worse. Remember we were talking about L4 training modules and L3 training modules? And I will give them the benefit of the doubt of this, but the way it reads is not good. We are removing L4 training modules from the arena store. You may have already noticed that you can obtain L4 training modules in the Intel store. Don't buy them in the Intel store with that. It's not a good idea. L3 training modules will remain in the arena store, and you can continue to obtain L4 training modules using arena credits before the conversion is happening. And they're almost in, the way this reads to me is like, better start doing it because it's going away. Now, I do want to give them an out here. It's possible, I'm going to switch to the other side. It's possible that they are going to up the amount of this that's available to purchase per every 8 hours, because there is an issue, and I believe this happens between players under level 60. I don't have the exact number, but I know certain places in the game that L4 training modules can't be used. So what that means is that certain players, let's say under 60, can't use $100 bills. They can only use $50 bills because of the way that characters upgrade. And so I know that when they do payouts on Twitch for like Twitch drops and things like that, they only give out the L3s because they rather give you two 50s than one single 100, because the $100 bills, not everybody can use if you're under a certain level. And I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they are going to up the amount of the L3 training modules in the amount that they remove the L4 training modules. Otherwise, it's just a direct nerf and way, way, way lower access to training modules, which is on paper exactly how it reads, because we don't know if they're going to up the amount of L3 training modules in the arena store. It doesn't say they're going to do that here. Maybe they will. Otherwise, these are 3 horrible changes, essentially. Right now, today, you can buy L4s and L3s if you have an abundance of arena credits. Maybe going forward, it's just going to be L3s. You're not going to have access to those L4s. Right now, today, you could use this currency right here to buy arena orbs and convert all of them into a small amount. Well, I don't know, a certain amount of L3s. Nope, that's not going to happen today. Right now, today, you could use these elite credits and buy Crimson Gear Raid orbs, which will help your progress to get Gear Tier 19 pieces, including the uniques that are required to go to the 19.5, let's say. Nope, that's going away. None of this is good. This is not player friendly. A lot of the upside to this currency conversion, in my opinion, was stripped. So, why is it a net positive? And this is being me overly generous and optimistic. At the end game, when I was getting Blitz milestones, when I was getting raid rewards, when I was getting awarded arena credits, when I was getting awarded war currency and Crucible currency, largely there was nothing there to buy. I just got to a place where this currency didn't do anything meaningful at all. Well, now they're going to pay out Intel currency instead of this currency that I don't see any value on it. And if I think back when Crucible came out to the game, I would play in Crucible and I would get awarded Crucible currency, and there was useful things to buy with that Crucible currency. Well, that's not the case today. And very often I hear players say that they don't like a particular game mode because the rewards are not worth it. Going forward, that's not going to happen. Instead of paying out this currency that I don't see a large value in, and it doesn't look like it's going to have any value going forward, it doesn't look that way, but now I'm going to be being paid Intel currency. And so I was getting something now that had no value to me to getting something that may have some value. And the some value is in that the Intel currency is useful for me in getting Gear Tier 20 pieces. And that's why I think this is a net positive. I was thinking that this conversion process would give me better access to L4 training modules. Nope. I was thinking that this conversion process was going to give me better access to Gear Tier 19. Nope. Essentially, when it's all said and done, there's going to be useful stuff, and all this stuff over here is going to be converted into the unuseful stuff. The legacy store will be, in my analogy of Euros, will be largely not useful things to endgame players. Now, all of this stuff has exceptions to players that are, at level 60 or level 70 or level 90. My understanding is that people that are coming up in the game in the first year really need this Blitz currency. They really need this Blitz currency to get gore. And I don't know what that means when this gets all changed up. That's probably for a different conversation. Let's talk about the new room rules, and then we'll wrap up the video. Crucible Season 15, global rules, omens of danger on offense and defense. Harbinger characters are going to be Vigilante, Thunderbolts, and 2 unknown teams. There's going to be a total of 4 teams, but Vigilante's the first team that's in the game. And then the Thunderbolts and 2 other teams are going to be used in Scourges that are going to happen supposedly on a monthly basis, that are going to be used to play to get upgraded Quasar, probably red stars, and even possibly, I suspect, awakened abilities. So that is what the Harbinger characters, if you go in game, there's a tag. I don't think the Thunderbolts have been added to that tag, but Vigilante is a part of that tag also. Unsuccessful hit, if the primary target has trauma, perform an ISO attack against that target. On defense, all characters gain 20% max health and 10% damage. That's normal. After each completed attempt, gain 1 exhausted. Cancel combats, do not gain +1 exhausted. So this latter part is standard. Room 1 on offense and defense. Fortify and healer characters on hit apply 1 vulnerable up to 20. Striker characters apply 3 vulnerable up to 20. All other characters on hit apply 2 vulnerable up to 20. All characters, when attacking, gain 100% damage per vulnerable on the attacking character. On end of turn, clear all vulnerables on this character. So, going fast is going to give you an advantage. That's the way I read that room. Room 2, aggroed. On offense and defense, all characters. On turn, if character has taunt, gain offense up. On turn, apply assist now to all allies with offense up. I don't know if you would want to take Liberty in that, because Liberty will throw taunts everywhere. And then any teams that can do offense up will be of use. So I think a character like Guardian, which gives allies offense up, would be of use, right? We get the assist nows. Room 3, negative energy. On offense and defense, all characters. Special abilities cost 4 less ability energy on successful critical hit. Reduce target's ultimate ability energy by 1. Boy, that's going to create a whole bunch of issues and should be fun. Specials should be going off constantly. Super interesting, right? I think Immortals really have a lot of really cool specials, right? Room 4, Spore Attack. On offense and defense, all characters do damage that reduces max health of the target by the same amount. So the max health damage is going to be kind of what Mephisto does with his attacks, right? Increase the max health and damage by 50%. I think of a lot of good situations where this could be super useful. I wonder how Mephisto is going to work in this room. Also, characters like Endgame Thanos, which pop off when passively when they drop below 50%. Could be super menacing in this type of room. Room 5, Before the Thunder. On offense and defense, Thunderbolt characters. When this character's attack, generate 1 ability energy, gain 100% crit chance and 300% focus. Right now, we have Ghost and Taskmasters, which are part of the Thunderbolt team. The other 3 will be coming. Actually, Victoria Hand's already in the game, but the other 2 will be coming in the upcoming weeks. Room 6, Dorky's Broken Headset. On offense and defense, all characters. On turn in, remove safeguard and trauma from all characters. On successful attack, copy and clear all positive effects. That's interesting. Wow, that's interesting. No safeguard and trauma. I actually like that. That is actually pretty exciting right there. I suspect speed will be where it's at. Some Starjammers going first or something like that probably will thrive in a room like that. We will have to see. Let me know what you think about this Intel store. This post I was pretty annoyed. If you watched my Twitch stream, I was actually pretty heated when I figured out they're restricting access to a lot of things. In short, my general recommendation on this is if you're sitting on elite credits, an abundance of elite credits, I would consider, spending them on Crimson Gear raid orbs. On the arena credits, if you have an abundance of arena credits, I'm going to be considering converting them all into arena orbs on the 20th before the 22nd, because after the 22nd, I don't think this currency is going to be of much value. And then, of course, in the meantime, I'm going to continue buying these on every store reset, which is every 8 hours. Bye for now.